There is a safety on this, so no lasting damage will actually be done. There you go. This is going to be good.
If only Washington cut spending like you cut hair.
I think mission accomplished, right? All right, so we've cut some Republican hair now, a little Democratic hair, right? Are you sure?
Show him bipartisan.
Are you sure you're ready for this?
I'm actually finally loved bipartisan.
Sounds like a... I'm good. We can comb it over.
This is just too good.
In for a dime, in for a dollar, right? My kids are going to run.
All right, you guys pulled it off. Coming together for a good cause and without any hair now. Brad Woodhouse, Sean Spicer.
Great job.
Thank you very much.
Way too much John Carl in that segment. But he knows that. Hair today, gone tomorrow. What you saw there was a display of bipartisan baldness. It's for charity. DNC spokesman Brad Woodhouse and RNC spokesman Sean Spicer made a bet before the election that whoever's candidate lost would have his head shaved to raise money for cancer research. Well, Spicer lost, of course, but Woodhouse agreed to sacrifice his hair as well. Both men join me now. Brad Woodhouse.
Oh, that's a scary sight, right?
Look at you two. You know, it's just...
I've decided
and you're both, it's a good thing you're both already married. I mean, because there's no way your wife would like
I'm never making another bet without consulting Nate Silver.
Yeah.
Nate will appreciate that.
He will.
You're going to get a lot of crap for that.
All right, before we get to business here, tell me about the specific cancer research group that we're raising money for.
Well, as you mentioned, we made this bet. I lost the bet. And then Brad got a call from an organization called the St. Baldrick's Foundation, which raises money for childhood cancer. And he, in a very good-natured, bipartisan way, decided that he would jump in and we would do it together to raise money for this charity. And so we've...
Brad, where can people go to give money?
Well, stbaldricks.org is where they should go. It's a wonderfully important charity that focuses all of its attention on raising money for research into childhood cancers. And they raise all their money by shaving heads. I mean, that is the entire thing that they do to raise money. So they shave celebrity heads. They would shave yours, I'm sure, Chuck.
Yeah. We could do it for you.
But we could have clippers in the car.
Fair enough. I'm going to go to the business at hand. Sean, let me start with you. This pledge, this Grover Norquist pledge, how important is it to the Republican Party?
I think it's very important. I mean,
I think it's important for people that have signed this pledge to keep it.
I think it's important for them to remember the problem that we have, which is a spending problem. And frankly, I think we look at it in terms of any family. If your family is grown into debt, the first thing you do is say, hey, Dad, go out and get a second job, raise more revenue for the family. You look at the family budget and say, where do we cut? How do we get back? Once that's all done thoroughly, then I think you look and say, okay, we're still a little short to pay down the debt. How can we bring in some more revenue? So I think for a lot of these members of Congress who have committed to saying, hey, the problem is spending, we need to reform our out-of-control entitlements, that's where the focus should be.
Now, Brad, on the issue of entitlements, Social Security and Medicare in particular, the base of the Democratic Party going to allow the president some leeway on this?
Well, look, I think we need to have everything on the table, but let's be clear.
So everything is Social Security?
Social Security is not contributing to the current debt or the deficit. Social Security is something that needs to be shored up. It's relatively easy to do compared to the other problems, but we need to take a balanced approach to the other problems. I mean, this idea that we can just, the American people didn't believe the Republican Party's nominee who said, we can just get rid of some of these deductions, we can get rid of some of these loopholes. That's not going to work. We have to go farther.
I don't understand frankly, the contortions being taken by some Republicans to avoid raising the tax rate even a point or two at this point. Can you explain why it's so important not to raise the rate at all, even if it means getting rid of all sorts of deductions?
Because I think you have to say, before you raise the rates and say, hey, everyone needs to pay more, we need to look at things that we can do to flatten the code, to grow the economy, bring more money in. Why would you tell people they have to pay more, small businesses, individuals, before you can close revenues? But you're already going to be making them pay more by getting rid of half these deductions. Well, I think it makes it flatter and fairer and supports economic growth and stops picking winners and losers in some cases. But the other problem is that we've been here in the 80s and 93 and 97. We put the revenue first, say, hey, we'll agree to these spending cuts that come down the road, and most of them never materialize. We've had the deficit reduction.
We do know this. We do know this. We know that the rates that we had under Clinton, we had the best economy that we've had in the past 50 years. We can go back to those rates.
I want to talk about the future of both your parties.
Sure.
Brad Woodhouse, one thing we have learned is when Barack Obama's on the ballot, there is a coalition there that helps Democrats win a lot of elections. When Barack Obama's not on the ballot, the one time that he was head of the party but not on the ballot, their party got shellacked. How do you change that?
Well, look, there were obviously a lot of factors there. I mean, we were facing 10% unemployment. We had this raucous debate over health care. I think one of the things we learned in this are the lessons that candidates and the party will take away from President Obama, and that's to make early investments. That is to expand the map. That is to be on the ground, invest in data, invest in infrastructure, and that's one of the things I think we will do. The 50-state strategy that Howard Dean put in place was a precursor to what Barack Obama did. We're going to continue that.
And Sean, you have a problem with the more people that vote, the less likely Republicans do well. Well,
I think we did very well in a lot of places. Our ground game in every battleground state was up from 2008. It wasn't up enough, except Ohio probably. So I think what we need to do, and what we are doing right now, Chairman Priebus has undertaken a full review of our ground game, our messaging, the metrics, everything that we can do in terms of messaging, mechanics, tactics, and said, what did we do well? Let's do more of that. What did we not do as well? And how can we do better? But it's got to be a thorough analysis.
Priebus is running for another term.
He is.
Okay. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, this is a discretion of the president. Does she want to stay on?
As far as I haven't had a discussion with her. I think she would. I think she would probably like to stay, but you know, that decision will be made between her and the president.
Hey, real quick, Chuck. St. Baldrick's. You can be a superhero.
Very nice.
Go to stbaldricks.org, and this is one thing that we can all come together on. Be a hero. Support St. Baldrick's. Join Brad and I. And
it's a great shirt.
It is a great shirt.
Better looking than your heads.
Absolutely.
Now you realize you have to make up your head. That was probably the weirdest thing. Make up in your head.